Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bear, and I am here to bring you one sweet, juicy, and just scrumptious life's milkshake moment this time. Life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely, and when you do, your life will be oh so sweet. Welcome back to this Thursday. This episode is going to be one that you will play over and over and over again. Why? Because these women are amazing. These guests are amazing. And I've had an amazing 4.5 decades of doing just what I'm doing here, showing people the way with health. I'm honored to say that in my practice prior to retiring, as Dr. Bill Janicek says, the only thing I don't do well is retire. As I unretired to do this global movement, that's quite another matter. But in my practice, it was 35,000 client patients that I brought through with 1.1 million pounds of toxic fat lost. And guess what? The next pounds lost, the next life reclaimed in health, energy, vitality, and longevity. Now at 70, I'm living proof. It can be yours. Take my hand. And this is what we do in all 6 pillars of health. 6 pillars: spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, financial, then social. Why is social the last? Because these women have become fast my friends. Barbie Layton was my friend the minute it was love at first listen. MarBeth, when I saw her, there was an energy transfer. That's just the way it is. If you keep your mind open, you keep your heart open, amazing things can happen, and you'll feel amazing here, right here tonight. So good morning for those of you that are going to be watching us tomorrow morning in London. Good evening here in America. And of course, good afternoon if you just so happen to be in Australia, which we have 2 authors there. But I want to come back to, what is it about health? You see, music was my talent. Health became my passion because I saw the woman, my legacy lady, my mother, when I got the phone call, you know, that phone call that you don't want to pick up. I had 2 babies. At that point, I just had 1 health coaching certification. That's it. A toddler and a newborn. Ring, ring, ring. Hey, Mama. What are you doing, Jody? I'm just finishing up the dinner dishes. Mama, are you okay? You sound kind of quiet. She said, no, Jody, actually, I'm not. They say I have 6 weeks to live. I have cancer. I dropped to my knees and I rolled off the toilet paper roll till there was no more. Have you had that piece of your life that just changes everything? Well, I can say the body is a miracle-making machine, and it can, and it will heal itself. What you're going to hear today is true healing and hope. Well, I jumped on an airplane within 3 days. I was there with the toddler in tow and the baby in my arms. And that's where I found the magic of Edgar Casey, which finally led me to Hulda Clark. You know how I met Hulda Clark 4 years later. But there, in the Laurel, Montana library, I found hope. And you will feel hope from Barbie. You will feel hope from MarBeth, because there is hope. Because where you have faith, hope has to come in first, is the action activator. Just my personal opinion. I went ahead and checked out those books, and I was able to afford my mother not 6 weeks to live, but 3.5 years length of life, way beyond her diagnosis with pancreatic and liver cancer, because she had hope. And when she came to me, when she was transitioning from this world to the next, she held my hands tight and she said, Jody, this Norwegian accent. And she said, Jody, give others hope the way you've given it to me. My trajectory was clear. I knew what I was meant to do. You will hear similar stories from MarBeth and Barbie, stories that they knew what they needed to do, that it was clear to share this saving grace, how they found healing with themselves and found healing then to transfer to others. So here we are. What happened during COVID? Well, you know that I finally sat down long enough, didn't watch Netflix, finished up my dissertation, and had my coursework for over 15 years. Now is the time. So if you're sitting down, breathe in, sit for a moment, sit in these ladies' words of wisdom, sit in this, because it was during this COVID time that I met Barbie. It was during that time of reinventing myself. Maybe you're looking to do that yourself. I'd sold my practice, COVID hit, and my darling husband, the big bear, as I call him, said to me, Jody, how much yoga are you just going to do? And he kept at me and at me. See, that mental piece when it comes to intuitive healing. He said, I've read the book. He was talking about Think and Grow Rich. I know there are 65 excuses because you're going to come up with at least 8 more. But when you get done with Napoleon Hill's 57 and you put in however many you're going to have, then I'm going to say this. People need you. People need what you're going to be hearing and feeling and seeing with Barbie and what you intuitively feel as well. So pass this on to others. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There are over 250 episodes. We've just rebranded it to our brand, Healthopedia 365. So we want some help there. So like, subscribe, share, hit that smash button, and find a place that you can share this and share this life healing. What you're going to get right here and right now, before I go ahead and bring up our guests here, is our note from our sponsor. But it's just not any sponsor. It is my partner, Dr. Jim Marinakis. When we wrote our Healthopedia 365 book, became an absolute overnight international bestseller in 3.5 hours. As Dr. Jim said, I know Amazon thinks it's artificial intelligence, AI, but I'm going to tell them it is artistic intelligence, because we hit and we've stayed number 1 and 2 in very 2 amazingly difficult categories in holistic health. We will roll out in September the first anniversary tour. August will be the anniversary, not the anniversary tour, because we're going to do one every single year. Anniversary in September. What will we have in August? We release The Essence of a Woman. You see the book cover. Doesn't she look amazing? The Essence of a Woman. What is a woman? Her essence you will feel here today. You will feel that essence because, as we say, it's that unleash. I know that unleash your feminine soul, release and release. After you've released that, you can unleash. Isn't that the truth? Release, unleash. That is the name of our book, with our A-listers, Tiffany Haddish, the acclaimed actress, Grammy Award nominee, musician, and comedian. Dr. Khalila Camacho Ali, who has been on Traverse TV not once but twice, the former wife of Muhammad Ali. She debuted her book, Undefeated, My Story of Faith and Forgiveness, has partnered with Healthopedia as being one of our A-listers. And most recently, Princess Maradian, Dr. Maradian Ogalana, a true princess, UN ambassador from Nigeria, and co-founder, along with her partner, the president of Nigeria, African Women's Health Project International. I'm so honored to be a part of their initiative, was honored to speak virtually in Qatar with their group. These three A-listers are going to bring their best in August as we release the feminine soul. We will release the essence of a woman. And after this commercial break, after you see my partner, Dr. Jim Marinakis, talking about PPI, the process, and what we do together in Healthopedia, you'll understand what this means to me. This man brought me back from stage 4 melanoma 24 years ago with the process. I was absolutely known that I was #1 in sales to get him finally to agree to tell his story in our Healthopedia book, this wonderful in hardcover or paperback. And after we had our wonderful launch, he said, Jody, would you be my partner? Now, I don't care who you vote for in November, just vote. It's our right. Make your voice be known. But it would be just like former President Trump asking one of the three candidates, would you be my vice president? This is going to take them about 0.03 seconds to say yes. I'm sure it happened to President Biden when he called up Kamala and said, would you be my running mate? Of course. Of course. So when Dr. Jim said, would you be my partner? Then in October, we'll have another unveiling of sorts with our books, with our event, as we really start launching LA in California with our second symposium. Why? Because we're partnering for health. We're partnering for you. So mark February 18th through 22nd, 2025. We will be in Beverly Hills. So be with us. But for right now, I want you to experience my partner, one of the two men writing in the essence of a woman, my partner, my guru, my teacher and trainer, Dr. Jim Marinakis, with his Personal Performance Institute. Take a look, take a feel, take a listen.
It's about time.
World-renowned homeopath, naturopath, acupuncture physician, and facilitator of the process. Presenting Dr. Jim Marinakis.
It's about time. It's about changes, and it's about time.
Why learn about health when you can experience it? Experience it in beautiful Florida in February 2024. Join us for 3 days of integrative and intensive health and healing education and empowerment with the expertise of the following Healthopedia author, speaker, and facilitators: Dr. James Marinakis, Dr. Joe D. Baer, Kimberly Meredith, Dame Doria Cordova, Rex Sykes, Dr. Gary Sanchez, Jamie Kerr, and more. Experience daily morning walking and yoga, interactive participation, panel discussions, and more for your own epiphany of health. Get your tickets now.
Well, at least you got to see Florida. I thought you were going to get Dr. Jim. Now you're going to get it. I know, Toya, you have this keyed up. Let's learn and feel. Dr. Jim, what about him?
The main reason I believe people's health is declining globally is because they don't do the things every day that they need to maintain themselves. They don't walk enough. They don't get enough nutrients. They accumulate way too much stress. They don't expose themselves to nature. They work under artificial lights that damage the rods and cones of their eye, their brain, disturb functions of their liver. Everybody wants to be free from disease, and they want to enjoy a long and happy life. At the Personal Performance Institute, we teach you how to do exactly that. It starts right in the beginning. The very first things you'll do, which are simple instructions, will improve your health, and they will make you feel better about yourself. Not believe that you feel better about yourself, but actually feel better about yourself. That's what the Personal Performance Institute can do for you.
So, as I said, we were in Florida last year. Check this out. Put those dates there. Los Angeles, February 19th through 22nd. It will be more of the same, just a little bit more of what we're going to be able to do. But what is right now is the most important thing. MarBeth Dunn is one extraordinary human being. one extraordinary woman who has attracted abundance and creating just amazing things through her life as a somatic healer. You'll hear that about this. As I said, what is intuition? Intuitive healing is knowing in your soul because you have done your healing work and they've taken it to the next level. That's what MarBeth did. You will hear what somatic healing is. You will hear it in her book because she's got her book on the back of her backdrop. She's a Kundalini yoga expert. You've heard me say about ashwagandha and ashtanga. I like ashwagandha and ashtanga. I think I'm so excited here tonight. I just can't even keep the words together. I am just so excited. Can you feel me? Because I feel them coming up on stage. Frankly, Kundalini Yoga is another amazing brand. She does Qigong. She also does the anatomic nervous system walk now with Dr. Jim's in my practice, but her wisdom in her body and what she has gone to make not only a beautiful marriage with her lovely soulmate, Harrison Klein, and what they do with movies, media, now she's with books. Her book is going to be promoted by the Jack Canfield. So I am honored to say that I'm able to promote you, your beauty, your work. Welcome, MarBeth.
Oh, it's so exciting to be here with you. Look, we met.
Oh, we always do. We always do. We always match. So, MarBeth, I just think about how we met at Tony Doty. And when I bring up Barbie, she knows Tony, Christina, Tom Chesser, why I'm here on Traverse TV. When you have these concentric circles, they just mesh, don't they?
They mesh. Yes, absolutely. Such amazing people. And that was actually my first night at Tony and Christina's when I met you.
My goodness. Let's come back to this after we hear about how you found somatic healing or how somatic healing found you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was on the porch in my office looking out over the lake, and I was waiting to get on a Skype call with a gentleman in Germany. His name was Franz. And we had had scheduled an exploratory call to see whether we would be good for working together. And I finally got him on Skype. I'm looking out at the clouds over the lake, and there's a big storm about to happen. It was looking kind of dark, big cumulus clouds. And I was sitting there at my computer, but it wasn't a visual interview with him. We were just on the audio Skype. And as you know, I asked him, how are you? And he was responding and just asking like normal questions. I felt in my chest this heaviness and achiness in my chest. Now, I'm an empath and intuitive, and I knew that there was some grief happening in his chest. So I just wrote it down on the notepad, and immediately it disappeared. So I noticed this. That is not something I had ever noticed before. And then I felt this stabbing pain in my back. And it was like, okay, he was betrayed. So I wrote down betrayal, and immediately it disappeared. And now I'm feeling these knots in my stomach, my solar plexus. So I wrote down that he was having some difficulty with his personal power, that he was in a relationship and he was not able to really assert himself or really be himself in that relationship. So I wrote it down and it disappeared. Now I'm noticing a pattern here. Things are happening. I'm feeling it.
Happen to you, then they disappear. Happen to you, disappear.
And of course, I'm feeling in my root chakra, I'm feeling this rage. So I wrote it down. Again, it disappears. And now up in my throat, I'm feeling all of this congestion, which I know are unexpressed emotions, all these unexpressed emotions that he hasn't been able to get out. And so I wrote it down, and then everything subsided. Now, meanwhile, we're having this dialogue. I'm asking him what he would like to do with his life, where things were going, but it was very on the surface. It was very superficial. But
I bet it got deep at that point. It
this was deep.
got deep as the Atlantic Ocean.
It was deeper. So
And so when that happened, you went ahead and said, there's something to this. What was your next step?
well, I took on other people's emotions and feelings, but I never used it in, I guess, a diagnostic sense. I knew things about people, but this was when it all happened. His
Yes.
body was communicating with me, and so I asked his body, "What do you want me to do now?" Now this is underneath the other conversation, the superficial.
Right. This is super. This is the next level.
This was totally next level. And his body told me. So while he was talking, I just said, "Do you mind?" I said, "I'm an energy healer and I'm receiving some information from your body. Would it be okay with you if I did some energy healing?" And he said, "Okay." So I did. I did exactly what his body told me to do. And this is across the Atlantic Ocean. He's in Germany. And I could just feel everything going click, 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 and just healing. Like just right.
Healing occurred, spontaneous healing across the water because you listened to that intuition.
Right.
So I think it would be lovely to bring up your blonde bombshell partner at this point,
I
MarBeth,
think it would be awesome.
because just like we had a love at first energy sight, Barbie Layton, it was a love at first energy listen. And Barbie at barbielayton.com is an intuitive, an empath going through. It's very interesting in our book, MarBeth, how many, I would say 90% of us found this either through someone else, like I found it through my mother, or it was because you found out this for yourself. And I know that the energy and the multiple modalities that Barbie does and who she is has taken her on multiple world stages, just like you, MarBeth, has taken her all over the world, just like it has the two of us, and on to the silver screen, just like you and Harrison stay behind the screens and Barbie's been in front of the screen. So it is with great delight. Barbie, I'm so happy to have you here with us because by golly, there we are and there we be. Let's put my two bombshells just together. Barbie Layton, I remember that conversation. I remember when you said, I need your phone number. We were on Facebook. I was standing in between my bougainvillea and my hedges, and I'm going, oh, I had this phone up on my ear like this. And I'm going, oh, and it just moved away because of your energy. So Barbie Layton, welcome back to, I think you were on Mindset Monday. Now here it's Life's Milkshake Moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that you would have an oh so sweet moment. It's just pick your kind of, I would say it's kind of butterscotch and butter pecan ice cream for that because those are two blonde colors. I think that would be totally personal and perfect. So Barbie Layton, I will just say welcome back again. It's such an honor. And so for those of you that don't know the Barbie Layton story, how did energy healing find you? Just like what we went through with MarBeth, I would love to know.
Thank you. Well, it's wonderful to be here again, too. Yeah, a lot of these things, it's kind of like when I watched Harry Potter, I saw the whole thing with Hogwarts where it's like, they were taking all these classes and they're the dark arts and spell casting and all these different things like that, too. And, you've got Hermione Granger who comes in and she's like, no, it's Leviosa. It's like, you have to do Leviosa because it has to be very exacting because, sometimes they would get frogs instead of what they were asking for. And I just thought, how cool would that be if you literally had the ability to take your gifts that you have and be able to literally channel them into the ability to be able to do whatever you're doing? And I don't think of it as anything negative or positive. I just think of it as electricity. It's the whole thing. Nikola Tesla is like one of my favorite historical figures in the the history of the world because of the fact that he talked about energy, vibration, and frequency. So I've always had gifts of where a lot of times, if I was upset about something, I would have light bulbs that shattered off on a regular basis. I had to buy a lot of light bulbs and, just different things of where I can't wear a watch, they break on me. It's like I have a certain kind of an energetic frequency that's just, I don't like anybody touching my computer because it's like it's that zap, what you were just talking about, or you get that, and people are like, "What is your frequency?" But in my lifetime, I
Hi.
was
You just say hi. What is your frequency? It's high.
but it's still, there was this great responsibility that I felt. There are a lot of people that talk about imposter syndrome. They talk about not feeling enoughness. I never felt any of that. I always felt like I was too much. I was always told, turn it down, turn the volume down, turn it down. Because when I would be in a room as a child, if I was upset or I was angry, almost everyone else, it would seep out, it would leak out to everybody else, where everybody would feel those emotions too. So everybody be pissed off. But then when I was happy, everyone was like, oh my God, she's here. And it's like, I was the life of the party and everyone had a good time. But when you have that experience to know that you are literally that much of where you seep into other people's environments like that too. I've come to find out that I'm a presence healer as well. So being in people's presence, I can heal them from just being around them. But that
Yes.
bears this great responsibility of feeling like I have to regulate myself to make it okay for other people. So in the last 4 years, like you said, not doing Netflix during the pandemic, it's like I realized that, I was working a day job virtually and I had 2 iPad Pros going, constantly just learning personal growth and development. Like what different groups, I just said yes to the universe, like help me be able to figure out how I can be a servant leader. I like talking about being a heart-centered conscious entrepreneur, in the sense of where how can you put that
Yes.
energy out to be able to be of service to as many people as possible. And so I literally offered, taking some classes from some really well-renowned intuitive healers around the world. And I just offered my services. I did over 500 sessions for free globally from a lot of people that were having a lot of problems. And I would have people who would be in Poland, or they'd be in Eastern Europe, or they'd be in Australia. And they would say that my face would just come up into their screen in a dream and say, I need to work, I need to buy a session with you. I need to work with you. And so it was like, they helped me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. And Princess Leia, is basically holographically projected out of R2D2. It's like,
And
that's what
look
it
at what
felt like.
MarBeth is just shaking her head. Absolutely. Here, you had the global thing. She was across, and she just got zapped. So if you've heard of Reiki, ladies and gentlemen, wonderful followers of Healthopedia, that's part of it. But I'm going to say so much more, because when you can get in tune, what Dr. Jim says? He says, because they say, of course you have these gifts, because your life is on course. So when you found that, I have one other question, because this is a juicy part of you. And then we're going to go into our discussion with you and MarBeth about these, I call them Eastern modalities. Some people say it's real healing, but it's certainly holistic health, that whole body, mind, spirit. But you got zapped and knew this as a very young child. Please share a couple of minutes about this, because that is so profound, Barbie. Please do.
Well, I think that one of the things that I always say to people, and especially clients that I work with now, is the fact that that which was your liability as a child is oftentimes your superpower as an adult.
Yes.
And I feel
Yes.
like the most interesting and the most amazing people are the people that have been beautifully broken open. Because if you don't have anything wrong, you literally go through the status quo. So it's like, I've watched people. I have a family member who was like super popular with everybody, and just the life, boys wanted to hang out with him all the time. Girls all wanted to date him. But then when you get to a certain point of where you don't have that resiliency factor at all too, because you didn't have to kind of go through that chrysalis with that whole, butterfly process, which is very, very painful in a lot of ways.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but by the same token, I feel like I was never willing. I had a rebellious streak inside of me where I was never willing to shut it off. I was never willing to say that I was going to conform to other people's ideas as to how I was supposed to be. And I think that's a really, really important thing too, in the sense of where, when you look at a child that's struggling, we have so many people now, we call them helicopter parents or bulldozer parents and people like that, where everybody wants to make everything really, really easy for the children. But ultimately, they need to have that opportunity to be able to go through those experiences, no matter how traumatic that they are, to be able to really, really go onto that hero's journey to be able to figure out who they are. So for me, it's like, I don't know if you remember in the 70s, but there were those 5 volumes of tomes. It was about Western civilization, and it was about Hinduism
Right.
and Buddhism and
Right.
Christianity and all that.
Yes.
As 12 years old, I I digested food, like books, like they were food. So I read the Bible from cover to cover when I was, I think, 11. I read all the encyclopedias. I read all about world religions, all sorts of
You
things.
read everything, because I
Yeah.
said, ladies and gentlemen, these are brilliant women, beautiful. They're blonde. there's a bombshell behind that. Those 5 volumes, because readers are leaders. That's just the way it goes. So frankly, I really would like to go ahead and just say, as we do this Eastern way that we do things. Okay. And here we go. This is what I wanted. I wanted us up close and personal for this part, because the Eastern healing modalities, we've mentioned, you got this rise in your soul, MarBeth, and you knew exactly. So, and you got permission. None of us go where we're not asked to go. We just don't do that. And we know part of it, that it's somatic. Give a definition, MarBeth. Let's start with this. A definition that people will remember about somatic healing.
Well, it's basically tapping into your body's inner wisdom to heal anxiety or trauma or any of these emotions that are stuck in our bodies. And it just unlocks a world of physical and emotional and spiritual benefits. As we release all of these trapped emotions, it just frees us, expands us into just a much grander space.
Yeah, because what did Barbie, you said the butterfly experience, and when you said brokenness, isn't it true that sometimes, I remember having this box of crayons as a little girl. Some of them were broken, but they colored just fine, and I got the same result. So expand on that butterfly journey, because you have a way of just saying this brilliance and next topic. So expand on this butterfly experience, because I think that's what you're talking about, MarBeth. I'd love to hear.
So I actually raised monarch butterflies.
Okay. So MarBeth raised them. Your butterfly experience, knowing that the cocoon was there, knowing that
I've seen them come out of the cocoon. It's the most gorgeous experience. But I remember a story about a woman who had this cocoon, and she saw the butterfly was like struggling to get out of it, and so she took a little X-Acto knife and tried to help the butterfly. Well, the butterfly really needed all of that struggle to build its muscles, and so when it came out of the cocoon, it was weak and it died. It just didn't have the strength.
And that's what you're talking about, Barbie, when you said helicopter parents making it so easy. Aren't you grateful now, looking back, that you have those struggles, Barbie, as a child? How has this played in your struggles have become your uber success as a healer?
Well, I think it's the ability to be able to have compassion, because I think that having been very, very mistreated by a lot of people in my life, but then also being loved and celebrated as well too. When you can experience and witness the glory of the full human experience of everything, you have this ability to be able to have compassion, because you understand where they're coming from. The whole concept of hurt people. And so I think that, when I'm observing that, or when I'm working with people one-on-one, I love being able to, I've always wanted to know how people tick, what makes them do the things that they do. Because a lot of times the things that people do is actually anathema to the person that they say that they are. If you find there's so many people that are out there, they'll tell you who they think they are, but then everything that they do is completely opposite as to who they say they are.
Show me, don't do the talking.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so that's the part too, in the sense of where, so I think that by having compassion, but it's still something of where, like my chapter in the book is a woman's worth is not her weight. And having experienced, being irradiated by Chernobyl in 1986, when I lived in Austria, and all of the food source was 100% natural that came from, the snow-capped mountains.
You found that deal, but we're not going to talk much about this book, because they got to buy it. They got to buy it. The story, because what you had, that was part of your adult hero's journey, your Shiro's journey. Share a little bit about this before we go into our next commercial break, because that's so profound, Barbie.
Well, I think that most people have this ability. So like, for example, so probably the both of you have been the same, probably about the same height and the same weight, fluctuating a little bit up and down too. But for me, I'm a person of where I wore a body that was over, basically, it was 200 pounds heavier than I am today. And I'm still a curvy, zaftig, voluptuous woman now. My Nordic, you call me a Viking princess.
You're a Viking princess, like with my Norwegian mother. Didn't you love that? Oh yeah, she was zaftig. Oh yeah.
But I'm just saying that from that perspective, seeing the way that people treat you when you're a particular weight as opposed to another weight, as opposed to a different weight too, it's something of where it's like, I've worn so many different bodies, and that's why I love to play with wigs and fashion and makeup and things like that too, is because it's always looking for these different ways that we can present ourselves, but we are also presenting to ourselves as to how am I being received and what am I putting out there too. So like I did a experiment when I first started doing my TV show in 2021. I would take a picture of myself every single time before I went on camera, and I would ask myself, how do I feel on the inside? And I would take a photograph and I would look to see, does my face present what I'm feeling on the inside? And then I would ask to see whether I could calibrate that to see whether it matches or not, because all of this stuff is about frequency, vibration, you know, in the world. And so therefore allowing myself to do that. And so when people would see me on TV, they said, you look like you're lit from within. But it's because of a whole adornment process of where it's like, I look, you know, when I put my makeup on, when I put my hair on, it's like when we can adorn the body and allow the beautiful temple that we have here, that's the body that we are carrying, the physical one. We're divine beings having, yeah, you know, physical human experiences. But when we have that ability to do that, and we really are very mindful about doing that, you know, just putting your makeup on and getting a hurry and doing this, whatever, that's one thing. But I make this a whole like a ritual, like a ceremony of celebration of how can I present myself to the great thing
from within, and celebration from within. And I tell you, ladies, we're going to celebrate, because who knew, talking about a servant's heart, I'll just say, who knew that a bottle of V-Guard, and you know about V-Guard and Vital Essence and what Dr. Jim and I have done, because it's been on together many times on our show, how we knew that the referral, I don't even know who called me and said, well, there's Tiffany Haddish needs some of this because she tested positive for COVID. I don't watch movies. I do now. Okay, just tell you, I do now. I go and courier it to Orlando now, knowing my husband, as I do very well. Of course, the first thing he goes, don't get killed when you find the courier. You're going to Orlando. I know where these places are. It was hilarious. No, I wasn't going to get killed. I wasn't going to get, you know, raped, murdered, whatever. She got our remedy, tested negative, asymptomatic the next day. They were under budget with their movie, and it went on. Because of that one bottle of, I'm just whatever. See, it's just like whatever bottle here, and it's not even this, okay? That little bottle created this bubble. So now I can say the widely acclaimed Tiffany Haddish, acclaimed actress, comedian, Grammy nominee, songstress, and she will be on our show the third week in August, is our A-lister with 7 million Instagram followers. And let me tell you something. It was pretty amazing. Talk about a humble heart. Talking about that trauma. When you hear her story, how she got into comedy, ladies and gentlemen, my viewers, my wonderful audience, is because they were ready to put her in juvie as a foster child because she was so traumatized from within. And then they said, but you've got a gift. You can make these foster kids laugh. She said, well, if I can make them laugh, I can make anybody laugh. They put her in the Laugh Factory in LA, Barbie. I'm sure you know where it is. And then next thing, she's a comedian. So just check out Tiffany Haddish. If you haven't bought her book, I Curse You with Joy, her New York Times bestseller, The Black Unicorn, or her beautiful song, Woman Up. And then we're going to come back hearing more about the essence of a woman, but presenting Tiffany Haddish.
Slow it down, you're dangerous. Pull me in, I've had enough. Love me back, I'm generous. I'm generous, I'm generous. Slow it down, you're dangerous. Pull me in, I've had enough. Love me back, I'm generous. I'm generous.
So there we are. And I had a wardrobe change, and that's great because it is a global movement. This is what I know. I am so grateful, Barbie, that you said yes. I'm going to start with you. I mean, you had every reason to say no on this book. And why? Because I'm going like this. I didn't like that side by side. I like this better. I like frames around me. Just saying. But as far as you've been in a gazillion books, a gazillion anthologies, you had a gazillion things going on. Yeah, I'm so grateful when I called you up. You said yes. Why did you?
Because when you are intuitively guided and you are totally in tune with what the universe wants for you, you say yes to whatever opportunities that come your way, whether it's convenient or not. The universe doesn't care if you're tired, exhausted, don't feel like it. I mean, kind of like you drove to Orlando during the height of where, you've got somebody that's tested positive for COVID and you're like, I'm going to be V-Guard and I'm going to bring exactly, and you did what you needed to do. It's like when we have that inner knowingness, we say yes to what we need to say yes to. And when you were doing
Yes.
the preview, all the people are in the, with the Healthopedia that you did in February, it's like, I mean, other than two people, every single one of those people are my friends. So seeing that was like an amazing thing. So again, I love you and what you're doing. And I didn't even know all the people that were going to be in the book. I'm grateful to meet MarBeth too. It's like, it's wonderful to meet you as well. But by the same token, it's again, I think that there are so many people now who've been kind of conditioned to say no because there's so many things out there that just, they take up your time or you're too busy and that kind of stuff. We're always going to be too busy. As an entrepreneur, you're always going to have 100 million things that are too able to be done. And we're always playing, with the top 10% of our emails or our text messages or our social media, whatever we're doing, because there's so much to do. But by the same token, it's like the essence of a woman. I feel like my story, my chapter is a really important one too, because it's something that a lot of people don't really talk about. And it's something of where it's like, and for me, I really didn't make my intuitive healing and, quantum manifestation stuff. I didn't really make it about myself and my weight and things like that too. But that's been a huge journey of where, as I was saying before, it's like when you know that you wore a size 5X or you could wear a size 14, most people have never had to experience themselves in that way before. They've never understood that. Nobody knows that when you gain weight like that, you literally grow extra skin. I had to have 32 pounds of skin cut off from a paniculectomy, which was the most painful thing I ever went through. I did
Oh,
six months of hardcore, like exercise at the gym at Linda Evans Fitness. So I had all the core muscles. And the next day I was literally out of my bed walking around. And my doctor said he'd never seen anything like that before because we just have
because
that.
of your energy. And see, it's your chapter says, rock what your mama got you. I've just got to put this in. And yes, I love you too, Barbie. Rock what your body, and then MarBeth, your body loves you. I mean, here, ladies and gentlemen, my wonderful audience, you've got two extraordinary healing women, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, but yet they use the physical because your body loves you. See, you showed that man on just an audio call with Skype how he would be loved, MarBeth. And I mean, here you, like I said, you've got the book, Somatic Healing, you've got this going on, and you just immediately said yes. And oh, by the way, Barbie, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're just kind of having like a little fun call, but the picture that I have of her and Harrison, MarBeth's a wonderful husband, went to Dame Doria Cordova. They've known Dame Doria for 20 years. Who knew when I gave them the book? They said, Dame Doria's in the book? I mean, it was just meant to be. But why, with you've got this much going on in this huge launch with Jack Canfield, why did you say yes?
Well, again, it's intuitive. I just knew, and I loved your energy, and I just knew, yes. And you know what I really love about this book? Not just all the other amazing authors and you, but I've been in other books before that are compilation books, but nothing like this. The dedication, the care, the love that's going into this book. I've been in other ones, but they've never been edited 3 times. They've never, had people just checking and did you do this? And with so much love and respect. And it's just this overall product, is going to be extraordinary because of all the love and care that's going into it.
Kind of like the care you gave the German, like the care you give your clients, I've seen this, I've personally attested to it myself, Barbie. It's kind of like the V-Guard that went couriered, 50 miles away to Orlando. And obviously, the last thing about the story was Bob Barrett gave him his gun. He said, you've got a permit. I want you to pack heat. Is that hilarious? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But I want to just give some shine here just on this. This is MarBeth's weekly podcast, Imagine Peace. Because what does MarBeth do? She has 10 million for world peace. I've been on her show. It's amazing. You can go to 10millionforworldpeace.org, and it should be right here, right now. She does it.
With the capital, it's 10. It's all spelled out. TEN.
But so just put TEN. We'll do this, and we'll put it back for just a minute, because that's important. See, we are family. I don't know. We're gonna, Barbie. I know you're a songstress. I think we're somewhere or another. We're gonna have to do Sister Sledge before we're done with the essence of a woman. I think that would be amazing. So there we go. 10 million for world peace. Here we go. Barbie also. Yes, 10 million for world peace this Saturday. You can find MarBeth on Instagram. You can find her just everywhere, because that's just who she is. But Barbie on her TV shows, you are amazing. Oh, that's so fit. I mean, when I was on her TV show, maybe we need to do that again for the book. But I'll tell you something, I felt amazing. And you can find the amazing Barbie Layton at barbielayton.com. It was up there on the screen when we didn't have this. And her guests are just world changers as well. So let's come back. As they say in the movies, now that I'm a movie goer and I watch Girls Trip, and I'm so like getting into this once a week. And Bob said, that's a new side of me. Always is. I might even just need to get a blonde wig before this is over, Barbie. I don't know. Get some blonde extra hair. But knowing that you met Jamie Kerr and Jennifer Kerr at Cannes Film Festival, MarBeth, and Jennifer is going to be in the book having two power couples. Barbie, you know Christina and Tony Doty. Now we've got Jamie and Jennifer Kerr. I can say now you're younger, Barbie, so I'm leaving you out of this for right now. But MarBeth, you know my wonderful wisdom that our baby boomers have, that we want to impart it to the next generation. Sure. You know the story of Hulda Clark, that I was 29 when I met her. She was 70. Now we're contemporaries here. How does it make you feel that we created not just a book, but a model for those that are coming behind us?
It's a legacy, really. It's a legacy. And I think it's something that it stands by itself. People will, I actually took Healthopedia with me to Cannes, and I read it on the plane. I thought it was amazing. It was so well done. And this is a legacy book. It's not just like any compilation book. This is a legacy.
And speaking of legacy, that's where you get every single one of our authors on Healthopedia 365. Just go ahead and follow us on Healthopedia 365. You can get all the juiciness from all the authors. I don't even think y'all know this yet, but we're almost through our Healthopedia authors. We'll finish the week before we launch in August. Guess who's going to get it next time? Healthopedia 365. You ladies you will get one whole week of shine on this Instagram page with your different words of wisdom. So, since you're the actress in the movie up front with Beyond of the Physical Matter, Barbie, give us a little bit of a trailer, but you got to buy the book. Give us a trailer of what she talked about, rock, what my mama gave you, and all of that. Just give them a trailer.
Well, I think that ultimately, when you look at, I kind of go through some of the history and things too. Like you look at the 1920s, you had the flappers, where it was kind of like, like a flat chested, like kind of skinny, and you have like, the bob hairstyle. But then you go into the 50s and you've got the, Gina Lollobrigida, and you've got the Sophia Loren's and the Marilyn Monroe's and the, Jane Mansfield's, or all that kind of stuff too, where it's the va-va-voom, it's the, the curvy, like the boobs and the butt, But ultimately, as women, we have the same body, right? And it's like, in the 80s, it became really popular when Jane Fonda did all those incredible aerobics that she was doing and bringing that to all of our consciousness too. It's like sitting around wishing, I make a joke that the elephant is not sitting in the savannah wishing that it had the legs of a gazelle. It's just not. But we
No,
basically put it
natural
out there
no
that
matter what yoga will do it. Yeah.
but there's sexy elephants out there, right? There's sexy gazelles. It's something in this sense for it too. It's like, even if your body is not in fashion, I mean, the funny part is that people, in the last 10 years are like, damn, I love your curves. You're so curvy and voluptuous. But, 10 years ago, that wasn't the style. So it's like, my body had to come into a certain level of fashion. But it's like, so what? I don't need to have that external validation. Women don't need to have that external validation. We need to dress for ourselves and be the very best versions of ourselves and be as healthy as we possibly can. Because I'm never advocating, the idea that obesity is something that anybody should be. Like, I'm not ever advocating for that.
But you're like you're really tall, so you wear it. Okay, you are a BB. I gotta put this in. When I get my downloads, Barbie. Okay, you said boobs and butt. Well, you're a bombshell Barbie. So I want to add after your name. It's Barbie Layton BB now. Okay, how fun is that? I want to know. Did you put that in your action steps, Barbie? You see, as those of you that have Healthopedia, our book. This is the thing people have loved about this. You read a story, at the end there are action steps. I didn't even plan this, y'all. We have 362 action steps in the Healthopedia Foundation's book, our 1.0. You can take one a day and be better. I want to know, did you put that one at the bottom of your page? Action steps. Put on your makeup and do a checkup from inside, then smile. Take a picture. From outside. Did you do that? I hope so. If not, I'm doing the final edits. I'm putting it in. That's beautiful.
Well, it's a celebration in the sense of where, I don't have any plastic surgery, no Botox, no fillers, none of that stuff.
Right.
But by the same token, but by the same token, I have a lot of scars. And so it's like, for me, I did a whole celebration. I think that one of the healthiest thing that any human being can do is get out of the shower, look at yourself, au naturel, and say thank you to something like, thank you to my beautiful, strong legs that have carried me through, or not looking at, because we always look for the flaws. So instead, look for something positive, like, wow, your eyes are beautiful, something. But just if you can find out one thing, celebrating that thing, making that a ritual and seeing yourself and not shying away from that, but celebrating yourself, I think it really brings about a certain level, because I'm not going to be able to do anything about the scars. That's part of my journey. That's part of my, the roadmap of my body. But by the same token, it's like, instead of being upset about it and shying away, I like to wear bodycon outfits. I wear Vava Voom outfits all the time. And I love
because
to be able to celebrate myself.
You're BB. And guess what? I've got Rex Sykes, our buddy, in the book. Celebrate everything. That is our word.
Yep.
That is our word, that we're celebrate this book, celebrating women. And when you read my story, ladies and gentlemen, got to buy the book. And guess what? When you go to essenceofawomanbook.com, you go to barbielayton.com, you go to marbethdunn.com, they will sign off on it, because guess what? You might be getting a signature from the next J-Lo, next Oprah, the next who knows. I'm telling you what, the next female president of the United States, and these two women and me. That's why I said, you might be getting an autograph from Oprah. But tell me, guess what I've done? I go through that meditation of celebrating your body. Who knew that this is what we were going to do? So MarBeth, I want to give you shine. I want to give you honor for doing, you've been like nonstop today. And here you are, somatic healer extraordinaire. What was that thing with your story, your trailer? And then you can tell Harrison, I have a new trailer for us, being producers and directors.
Well, for me, it's your body loves you. And your body does love you. Your body has its own language where it messages you and lets you know what's going on. Like, I, for one, was very disconnected from my body. It wasn't safe for me to be in my body. And I know that a lot of people experience that. When you've experienced trauma, when you've experienced pain or grief, and it's just too painful to be in your body, you leave. You're either up in your head, or you might even, just kind of go out in space. So, your body gives you these messages. It lets you know if you're feeling a little achy in your chest, you might even be having a cold, but it may not be what you think it is. It may be emotionally caused because your body is saying, hey, you got something in your chest. Do you want to check in a little deeper? Maybe you're feeling sad or grieving about something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like any of these pains or aches that we experience in our bodies can have a very different meaning. And also, diseases can be caused, as you know, by emotional issues.
Without a doubt. And that emotional connection there is everything. And and you see it in your body. As I say, a tap on the shoulder, a 2x4.
Mm-hmm.
Find these women. Instagram, MarBeth Dunn. Instagram, Barbie Layton Official. Find these women because they will have amazingness for you as well. And I've got a word for you. I came up with it about a month ago on our show with the doctor talk with all those men, and it was Renee Brown. And when she was talking, I said it is FemFlow. That's what our book is. It's FemFlow. You just feel it, be it, buy it. So you and as my content creator and one of my PR wonder men, Martin Pratt. You'll see in our Telegram chat, you'll see Chris Trammell and MarBeth Pratt. Why are these men invading? Because they're real men supporting real women. And he said, buy one now as a pre-order, buy another to give it to a friend. Because that is what it's all about. 7 abortions, 7 failed marriages, trauma extraordinaire, cheating, a death of a child, everything. But you think, oh, why should I buy this book? Because we gave everyone, as you said, Barbie, the butterfly, the hero's journey, the shero's journey to get through, to celebrate your wings, to make them fly with grace and ease for the rest of your life can be the best of your life. And I know the rest of my life is the best of my life because I've been and experienced the 3 of you. My goodness gracious. Let's close it out with one word. I know you have a free gift and they can go to BarbieLayton.com. That's her site. Oh, yeah. But tell us a little bit about your free gift that you have for anyone who chooses to reach out. Barbie?
So we have, when we were talking about frequencies, I really love David Hawkins' work of Power versus Force, where he talks about the consciousness scale. So for me, I tone and I do toning activations in trauma-filled spaces all over the world. So I go to war-torn spaces like, in Europe and Berlin and different places.
We're in Chernobyl. You were in Chernobyl.
Well, I was in Eastern Austria, but being in those spaces of where I sing the hue. So I tone it where I do hue, which is 528 hertz, which is the frequency of love, creativity, and DNA. So it's a meditation that I did about 10 minutes of me toning that. Our bodies can be tuning forks. And when we basically tone that out in that sense, we literally create the frequency around us and we can affect 750,000 people. It's been scientifically proven people when we upgrade our frequency. So if you think about it in a negative way, we're counterbalancing that in a positive way. And I really believe that if we shifted the world 1%, I think that we would literally be able to bring heaven on earth.
So to just think that 1%, Barbie, that means that we could go ahead out of that 750. I'm believing 1.1 million books are going to be in people's hands just because of that. MarBeth, tell us about your 7 ways to your miracle power, please.
7 easy ways to harness your miracle power. So it's easy. Miracles, when they're not flowing, there's something, blocked in your field. Miracles are natural. And so these are some easy ways that you can learn how to access them. Very, very simple. Just a little ebook, but it packs a punch.
Packs a punch. And ladies, you do too. I just want to honor you. Thank you again for being in my life, for bringing this about. As in our Healthopedia book, my quote was, miracles occur every day. Beckon them in. I'm so grateful that I had a parachute open, Barbie, and a phone that went. Yes. And I am so grateful that my husband, the big bear, sat next to you and he goes, And you don't even know this, MarBeth. Guess what? Bob
What?
was going underneath the table like that. He knows when something goes, you need to talk to her. So thank you.
I think Bob is awesome.
Thank you, Big Bear, for doing that. Thank you, ladies, for being just who you are. Peace, love, joy. See us in August. This is just the beginning, and we've just started to scratch the scratch. Bye-bye, MarBeth. Bye-bye, Barbie. And all I can say is come back next week when we'll have yet another author or two. Be looking at Healthopedia 365, our website, at Instagram. You can find us absolutely there. Like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, Healthopedia 365. You want it every day. Be in that fem flow because, gentlemen, when we women are in that flow, you like us better, don't you? That's what we're giving for the world. But don't worry, guys. I wouldn't leave you out. You know, the next book, the 3.0, it's Ladies Before Gentlemen, will make sure that you get your turn. But life is like a milkshake. Wasn't I true to this? They were the rich swirls in the ice cream with the whipped cream, the nut confetti, and a double cherry on top today. So wherever you are, remember that health isn't something you do. It's what you become along life's journey. Take my hand, come with it, and make every single day your way and make it a Healthopedia kind of day. Ciao for now.